Hello and welcome to our EV meeting. Here you can see who is presenting tonight. It's a fairly long presentation or meeting, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing or listen to it, just pick out what you want to look and listen to.
All right, welcome to SacEV. Find a seat. Yeah, but it's going to take them that long to. We're gonna try to make sure that we move things along kind of quickly tonight, because at 6:20 we have a Zoom meeting with Preterra, and we want to make sure that we're accommodative of that. So we'll start off with introductions.
He's running the meeting today. He's president in training.
I'm going to be running the meeting today, mostly because I'm familiar with putting on things at Hacker Lab, so I am in my natural space here. And Peter is letting me also do it because he's more worried about his voice than I am, I think.
I think that we provide a place where people can come and learn and to grow and to basically expand on their ideas and build their dreams.
So the grant would mean that the community for Hacker Lab gets much, much larger. And the community for us means everything. We have hired several folks out of the Hacker Lab community to join our company. That's one of the best aspects of the Hacker Lab, is that I can get a really wide range of opinions here. I'm not just getting opinions of metal workers. I'm not just getting opinions from woodworkers. I'm getting opinions from architects, graphic designers, computer programmers, photographers. I get input from all of those fields, and that helps me kind of shape each product and each piece.
Before I found out about Hacker Lab, I was in my lab alone working on things, and a friend of mine came to me and said, "John, you've been alone too long. I'm going to go buy you a burger and I'm going to take you to a new place." And I'm thinking, okay, fine, we'll go get a burger, whatever. He took me to Hacker Lab and it was like, oh, the sky opened up.
I have tools, manufacturing tools here, where I do a lot of, in addition to design, I also do a fair amount of prototyping. So I have to design something, or if I need to show something to a client, to what it looks like, there's a machine shop here, there's all these tools that I can use for that. And also just the networking aspects as well. 90% of my business has been built off of contacts and just networking that I've done here at Hacker Lab, and some of those have been fairly lucrative.
The grant gives us an opportunity to develop strategic programs that can reach out into the community with more depth.
So that's kind of an overview of Hacker Lab. We did a tour earlier tonight. I'll do one at the end of the meeting if you kind of want to see what's going on back there. And now there are 3 Hacker Lab locations. There's the one here in Sacramento, there's one in Rancho Cordova, and there's one that's a partnership with Sierra College up in Roseville, Rockland area, near where the actually Tesla dealership is, where the Tesla service center is. So if you're interested in, check out their website, check out their other locations, and help support them that way. All right, so next we're going to move on to...
Thank Hacker Lab for providing the space for us tonight.
Absolutely, let's thank Hacker Lab. Next we're going to call up Guy Hall, no relation.
Plausible deniability. You won't admit it. You got the little thing for me?
Here you go.
Great.
And it is.
All right, hey,
And at
a microphone.
I'm going to give you like frantic signals as we get towards 6:20.
All right. All right. First, since we didn't do, will the current board members please stand up, and so we can, everybody can see the SacEV board members. So if you can please stand up, Thomas, George are over in the corner, and I thought we had a couple others, and there's. All right. So let's give them a round of applause for helping pull this together. All right. And also, we normally do. Who are the new people? The first time to this meeting. Wow, that's great. I mean, 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, we have a gift always for the, and we may need to try to borrow some Tesla Man comic books. I don't know if there's any around nearby that we might be able to, because I left all our stash at home. But we also have a few of these. So these are the gifts for coming out the first time. All right. And they're back on the center table. So with that distraction, I'm going to go ahead and get started because I know George is going to be after me real quickly. By the way, so this sort of quick end of the year review. We have now over 800 members of the Sacramento Electric Vehicle Association. So great job. So you guys have been busy. I want to say right now you've been busy, and this is so important. This is one of the guiding principles in an organization like ours. We're trying to drive change, and nobody does change as well as a few concerned citizens that are making this happen, and you guys are those citizens. So we appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate this over this next year, coming out to more events. And this year we had 65 events through the year. 65 from schools, like elementary, all the way to retirement homes, big events, small events, ride and drive, show and tells, across the gamut. So here's just, we already had 8,500 conversations with people in our area about electric vehicles. 8,500 conversations. And it didn't come cheap, it was almost 2,000 hours. And both those numbers, I think, are undercounts because we didn't do as good a job this year of keeping the numbers. And if we start counting from back when I joined in, at least back in 2011, 54,000 conversations with people. Over 10,000 hours of real work put in. Now, what's that bought us? Well, let's look at the last months. This is a list of rebates that are from the CVRP folks. Thank you, Marisol, as being one of those key members. So this is the number of rebates. The best guidance right now is that you double that to get the number of sales. So we're having over 750 sales, EV sales per month. That's what's happening largely because we've got you guys out there encouraging, educating the community about how these are so wonderful. And to date, we're over 35,000 cars, electric vehicles in our region. These are just our region, you know, the Sacramento region. So are we having an impact? Yeah, really we are. And we're going to try to do even keep ramping that up. I want to point out that through the help of George, Thomas, Eugen, and they've been talking with other parties and Peter about providing more of some of the financials behind us. And that's important, but the most important asset that we have and resource that we draw on are you guys, all right? So your time is what's so valuable, and others are contributing financially to help make those happen, to help enable us. So congratulations, really, phenomenal. It just blows me away. So what's happened in terms of the infrastructure? These are the number of L1s and L2s that are in our region. 250 locations of L1 and L2s. So infrastructure is coming in place. I mean, we're trying to grow the EV community faster than the infrastructure, but they're trying to keep up with us. So what about fast charging? That's becoming more and more critical. Well, 60 fast chargers that are in our region that are either up and running or in construction now. 10 of those are Tesla. All right, so it's still even outside of the Tesla group, 50 fast chargers in our region. Not fast chargers, 50 fast charging plazas. All right, all around the region, all the way up to Tahoe, and of course toward the Bay Area, going south. We're doing really good with that. So very excited about that. So we made some good headway. And now with over 9, I did have 10 here, but one of the Kia pushed their entry from 2019 to 2021, unfortunately. But still have 9 cars that are, you know, the 200 to 300 mile range. So we've got a lot of great cars and vehicles, town cars to be able to talk about. So I think that's my last one. So George, I hope I'm getting you back on time, or Thomas, actually.
You're ahead of time.
I do everything I can. So you guys are awesome. You really are awesome.
Okay, and this was a new record. I want another round of applause for God.
Oh, this is, yeah.
That's the best date ever.
I didn't talk as long this time. No, give an award when you go home, right?
Okay, so what we're doing now is setting up a link to the marketing director for Preterra. How many people are familiar with what Preterra is? Okay, Preterra is one of the major players, one of the 2 or 3 doing electric buses. And they have some really big contracts in this region for electric buses that will be incoming this year. They have contracts all over the country. Well, we have them. Us. Some other comments about the charging network. How many of you, let's go to what I clearly was the majority, how many of us are driving Tesla versions 1 or another? So it's the largest single subgroup, and one of the reasons, okay, yeah, one of the reasons that for many of us that is the case, how many of us are single vehicle or single electric vehicle households? Again, that infrastructure for fast charging being built out is really crucial for everybody, but it's super crucial if you don't have a Tesla. Because, again, I'm a Tesla owner on my 3rd Tesla, but it's because I'm a single car household. And I take road trips. Looks like this actually works.
Hello, Bill, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You're in front of SacEV right now at the Hacker Lab.
Oh, awesome. Hi, everybody.
And Bill, thank you. This is George Parrott thanking you for sharing your insights and information on the company with us. I've given a brief but very shallow introduction, but again, I'll let you take over.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. How many we have in the room?
About
50?
Oh, great. That's awesome. I used to live in Sac, so I'm always interested in following, and I just couldn't be up there. I travel quite a bit, as you can imagine. I'll be in because we've got customers up there, obviously, but I cover the entire United States as commercial sales director. I focus on everything that's not a transit agency, which means national parks, airports, universities, commercial shuttle buses, and things like that. I call that the fun part. But a quick introduction about me. This is my 27th year selling electric vehicles. I started in 1995 with the Trans 2 as a low-speed electric vehicle in Palm Desert. I was the first dealer in the United States, and then we became a Bombardier dealer when they had a neighborhood electric vehicle. And in 1998, I helped with the legislation getting passed for the, let's see, at that it was the FMS VSS 500, which allowed those to be street legal as a low-speed electric vehicle. And then worked my way up, but I've been involved with electric vehicles my entire career. So you guys are welcome to look on LinkedIn. If you want to connect with me, that would be great too. But as far as Preterra goes, I've been with them for a little over 3 years, and I absolutely think it's the pinnacle of my career. Everything I've learned along the way has been put to use, and Preterra is just a fantastic company. We try to be modest, even though I think we're the leader in the industry in a lot of ways. We admittedly don't know everything, and we learn something with every deployment. We also try to tackle all the obstacles and maybe objections of people not understanding about going electric. So similar to each and every one of you trying to get somebody to adopt driving an electric vehicle, you have to deal with the questions of, oh, how far will it go and how long is the cord? And, you know, I've heard this my whole career. Or how are we going to get to Vegas? People don't go to Vegas. But anyway, we've dealt with that. So I'll show you a little overview of Preterra. I've got a couple of videos that I think really say a lot, and then we can get into more technical questions if you have them. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. So Dale Hill, Mr. Dale Hill, the founder of Preterra, I've known him for about 10 years, and we used to call him that crazy old guy with the bus in the back of the expo hall. He started the company in 2004 in Denver, Colorado. And ironically, Lee Granis, one of the Clean Cities coordinators in Connecticut, and I've known each other even longer than Dale and I know, but Lee Granis helped Proterra get their first funding from the Department of Energy, and it was to build a hydrogen bus. So in 2005, 2006, they rolled out a hydrogen bus, and with all the effort and understanding on the hydrogen side of things, Dale was convinced that battery electric was still the most efficient way to create the perfect mass transit vehicle. So his vision has really blossomed as we started hiring people from Tesla, including our CEO. About 5 years ago is when we really ramped up production and ramped up our investment strategy and raising more money. So we've grown to well over 500 employees. We've got over 100 customers now in 42 states, 41 states, and we're in Canada. We've got 10 million miles of zero emission miles that we now have all that data and experience on. And lots of CO2 emissions avoided, obviously. And the proudest thing is that we're a US company. This map over here represents where we buy our components from. The remaining 25% is a lot of it's the battery cells themselves are with LG Chem. The exact same size cells is what Tesla uses. LG Chem's from South Korea, obviously, but in Burlingame, in the Bay Area, we actually manufacture the battery packs with our technology, our software technology, our patents, our safety and performance testing is done in Burlingame, and it's just very sophisticated. So much that Van Hool and Daimler invested over $155 million just last year, and that inclusive of Chrysler Commercial. That also includes Thomas-built school buses. So you may have heard that Thomas-built school buses have gone electric now, and they're powered by Proterra. So that's a partnership. We've also partnered with Alexander Dennis, the Great Britain company that makes the double-decker electric buses. And I think 3 of those have already been sold from Alexander Dennis to Foothill Transit down in LA. And so those will be hitting the market soon too. So we've got a lot of great support from BMW, Constellation, and Edison, the 2 utilities, and also General Motors, GM Ventures, and then Kleiner Perkins, who kind of knows what they're doing. They've started companies like, Amazon and Google, and those kind of companies. So we've got a very good financial backing. This video I want to show you, the sound should be fine, but just alert me if it's not. It's only 2 minutes long. It's a real good overview, including what we consider to be the industry stepping stones along the way.
A major shift is underway across America. It's the complete transformation of transit. With smart, connected, clean, efficient vehicles, utilizing new technologies fueled by clean energy, advanced design, and intelligent planning. Innovating in 3 advanced research, design, and manufacturing facilities around the U.S., Proterra is reimagining and reinventing transit, driven by a vision to provide clean, quiet transportation for all. The Preterra Catalyst is the first bus designed and built from the ground up as an electric vehicle. Drawing inspiration and ideas from energy, aerospace, and high tech, the Preterra Catalyst beat the world record for the longest distance traveled by an electric vehicle on a single charge and has no tailpipe emissions. Featuring a low-maintenance electric drivetrain, energy-dense batteries, and a lightweight, impact-resistant composite body, the Preterra Catalyst has delivered a stunning leap forward in energy efficiency. With the equivalent of 21 miles per gallon, The Catalyst achieves a 500% improvement over internal combustion engines and an operating range of up to 328 miles. This is not incremental change. This is revolutionary change. The cost of electric vehicle technology has been falling each year. From LA and San Francisco to Miami and New York, more and more cities across the country are making commitments to 100% zero-emission transportation. Proterra is powering this transformation right now, with over 90 customers throughout North America and more than 8 million miles on our odometer, and thousands more miles added every day by transit agencies across the country. Proterra is driving the transportation revolution, changing the way people experience mobility in their communities, creating clean, quiet transit for all. This is our vision and our journey. Join us.
So it's pretty neat to be able to show this kind of video. I don't know if any of you have seen that before. Some of these are on our website. But what I'll do, oh, sorry.
A major shift is...
So anyway, like I said, Dale Hill started that, and the first bus he was selling was $1.2 million and had about a 35-mile range. We all kind of laughed at him and rolled our eyes, but we really have come down in price, and obviously the range increase with our lithium battery packs and our technology software has really improved the charging ways we can charge, and also the distance and range capabilities. And we'll get more detail into the batteries and charging infrastructure. Like I said, Burlingame is where we build our batteries, and we're also the company headquarters now as a California corporation. Los Angeles and Greenville, South Carolina are our two factories, and I'll be in Greenville all next week. We do factory tours with our customers, and they absolutely are, I'd say, very impressed. But I mean, you can talk to them. Sacramento Airport has been to our factory several times before they bought their buses, and then afterwards they go through a whole configuration process. So we're very involved. We do training, and the maintenance side of things included, whether they buy one bus or 50 buses, you get maintenance training for whoever's going to work on the buses, and when we even do operator training. So how to charge the bus, how to know fault codes, and how to maneuver the bus, and how you all know as an EV driver, how to drive with one pedal almost, because these buses are so efficient on the regen that we do a route analysis, I'll show you later, with even an altimeter in it, so I can tell them what they're going to gain in the regen on coming back down the hills. 100 customer was our big announcement back in October, a few months ago. This is a bit of an eye chart, but I just wanted to show you that just in California, we've got these many customers, but we are throughout the country in Canada. Ironically, the first customer we had was Foothill Transit down in LA. And then the next company bought our buses was in San Antonio, and then we went to Nashville. So it wasn't just, we're up in Worcester, Massachusetts, and we're in Moline, Illinois. And I mean, it's just been great. I was born and raised in Kansas, and I'm working, Wichita just got their first 4 buses, which is phenomenal. But my proudest one is I sold the Cherokee Nation down in the middle of Oklahoma a couple of buses. So it's really fun when you can get this wide, diverse range of uses, and seeing them out in the wild is phenomenal. The San Jose Airport has been running 10 of them now for almost 7-8 months, and they're just running great. They love them. Sacramento Airport has 5. The universities that I've been dealing with, these are the ones that I can say are public, but University of Georgia has now ordered 33 of our buses. Phenomenal case scenario there is that we're using our dual motor for their hill climbing, and it blew away the competition. We did head-to-head studies. We ran the buses against the competition in one day. We've been out there several times. I mean, that was about a 3-year process. Duke University, Alabama A&M, and then University of Montana is a great story. And there's a video of them on our website. They were the first college university in the nation to buy electric buses, and they're ordering their second order now So it's been a real good success. Some of the transit agencies run the ones for Clemson, University of Minnesota, Florida State. We got 14 buses. They're ordering another 10 or 12. And then I've got some that I wish I could tell you who they were, but they're big name Ivy League type that have just recently come on board over the holiday break. I've got POs from them. The airports have been a real success. Just anything in an airport, in my opinion. In fact, I was just interviewed and published, I was in a published article this week, and I think my favorite quote that they quoted me on is that any vehicle from the tarmac to the rental car facility should not have a tailpipe. And it's not the future. Every one of those vehicles, from the ground support equipment to the trucks and taxis, the rescues trucks, all those can be electric now. So I really have focused heavily on airports, and getting names like JFK and LaGuardia and SFO just got their 6 buses, and they're going to order more, but they'll put those into service here at the end of this month. So that'll probably be in the news. And as I said, Raleigh-Durham was our first. They're ordered another 4. This order up here has doubled already, so I mean, we're just growing like crazy. The tech, am I doing okay so far? As far as, okay, I'm going kind of quick, but I'll let you get some questions in, and then we can go. 4 more minutes on this, and then Q&A. Okay, you got it. So technology-wise, what we're really proud of, and I think really differentiates us, is this composite body, and it was built to be an electric vehicle, like a Tesla or like a Nissan Leaf. It wasn't Frankenstein together, taking out a motor and then and a tank and saying, now where are we going to put the batteries? I'll go on to the charging. We can put our 110 kilowatt hour battery packs can go in pairs of 220, 440, or 660, and that's how we obtain that 328 mile range. And of course, nominal range with heater and everything else running, we get very realistic on estimating what a true range is going to be in the wintertime for a university in, let's say, Harvard. You know, their operation is going to be different in January than it is in July. Our battery location is key to our success in safety and efficiency. Low center of gravity. This is our battery technology. We literally have 70 sensors in there. We liquid cool each and every one of these blocks, if you will, and then the modules, the longer parts, are isolated with an aluminum wall. So if there's any energy, or you know, we'll call it an event, it can't spread. We've really, and we've shot this outer casing with 45 caliber bullets. You can see in our factory, we've shot these, we've buried them, we've put them underwater while we're charging them. We've put them in cold and hot. So I want to get to this energy video, and then we could probably stop there. Does that sound okay? Yeah. All right, here we go.
Cities across North America are accelerating the transition to electric fleets. To achieve large-scale deployment, fleet operators need to implement a complex energy ecosystem. Proterra makes it easy for operators to scale their fleets with turnkey infrastructure services, including the source of energy, utility engagement, site preparation, charger installation, energy optimization, battery lifecycle management, and more. Proterra Energy Fleet Solutions enable customers to lower upfront costs, reduce risk, and simplify their transition to battery electric vehicles. Beginning with a high-fidelity route simulation and sophisticated fleet modeling, Proterra helps you choose the right vehicle, battery, and charging configuration to meet your route requirements. The Proterra team works with you to design and install the best infrastructure setup for your depot, managing the whole process from start to finish. And with Proterra charging systems, you can choose between overhead or plug-in chargers in a range of power levels to best fit your needs. Our team can even help you take advantage of renewable energy resources. Proterra Energy Fleet Solutions includes services to optimize your charging to manage electricity demand and minimize costs. And with our industry-leading batteries built in Silicon Valley and vehicles with up to 660 kilowatt hours of onboard energy, Proterra provides you with the energy needed to meet your route requirements.
With a pay-as-you-go financing model, you can pay for that energy storage and charging infrastructure over time, like you already do for energy, reducing your risk and upfront cost. Preterra Energy Fleet Solutions simplify your transition to an electric fleet.
There you go. We did that out of necessity as far as having a great deployment happen, but then the charging stations weren't installed correctly or in time. And the construction, as you can imagine, the timing of delivering these buses and building them from scratch for the order is everything has to be chronologically planned. So I'll stop there if you've got specific questions on charging. We use the CCS combo, so all these brands, obviously, it's dual purpose, which I love to make sure people understand as you use one of our chargers. We even work with our competition as well as all those brands coming out, even the new Mustang will have the CCS combo fast charger. And that's good news because that charger is available all day long because the bus uses it at night for 3 or 4 hours.
The way it's going to work is you'll ask a question and George is then going to repeat it.
Bill, I'll start a question. Again, I missed it. How many employees do you have here in California?
In California, we're probably at about 180, almost 200.
And are the vehicles themselves, I mean, you said the battery packs are assembled and done here. Are the vehicles done here as well?
Yeah, we've got our factories down in City of Industry, so anything pretty much west of the Mississippi, we try to schedule them to be built in California. The only, there's kind of a funny, Alabama A&M's buses were due by a certain time and our Greenville factory was so busy, we actually built the JFK buses in LA and we built the Alabama A&M buses in Los Angeles.
Good. So, questions, anybody?
They have inductive charging also?
Do they have inductive charging also?
You know what? We're very focused on what the latest technology is, and we just don't feel that that's ready yet. First of all, for safety, there's not a standardization that's really been completed. So we're kind of waiting to see. We're more concerned about the efficiencies and the losses. I know the brochures say one thing, but in real world, when you have these buses wanting to transfer, 350 kilowatts, every day, every hour you stop over this pad, we don't want any loss that's unnecessary. So we're ready for it, but we're really kind of waiting for it to get a little bit more ready for prime time.
I mean, again, I don't know about the rest of the people here, but this sort of addition to the electric vehicle world seems to me an incredibly important, step and extension. But in your product plans for the future, what about other vehicle functionalities, like even for mail carriers? U.S. Postal Service, smaller vehicles, UPS
yeah,
vans.
I think here's what I could say about that is that Preterra is building the batteries and the drivetrains that we can then partner with. So we are, and I can't tell you who, but there isn't a category of transportation that we're not going to partner with, including marine, including locomotives, including heavy-duty trucks. So I just can't tell you who, but under the Chrysler, the Daimler label, you've got Chrysler Commercial, which you just look at their website and what kind of trucks they build. We're going to test every single platform they have to be electrified. I mean, and if our partnership continues to grow the way it is, and our sales of just Thomas Built school bus platforms and those batteries will start to sell, our battery sales will probably outgrow our bus sales. But we're focused very much on the middle comfort zone, if you will, of the bus industry. And there's 6,000 buses every year purchased throughout North America. And right now there's over 20% of those are electric. So it's a quicker adoption rate than it's been in the EV consumer market. And you start looking at the funding that's been put in and the efforts that's put in to getting, a nurse to buy a Nissan Leaf. It's like if you could take 30 cars off the road and have it be in a zero-emission bus, it's a win-win-win.
Okay, one last question and then we'll move on. So
You bet.
Is Proterra a public trading company? Is Proterra
No.
a public trading company?
No, we're private.
Sorry guys, we can't make another killing there. Bill, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, we're only a couple minutes off on a planned schedule, and our next presenter is going to be talking about EV to home power sourcing, basically using the power outlet from your EV to power appliances or emergency backup devices when you're camping or whatever the situation demands. Bing?
Okay. Thank you, Joe. I have a couple of flyers.
Louder. This is not a PA. This is just
That's
to...
all right. Listen, I don't think I need that. You can hang on to that. I'm with him. My name's Stan.
We
Burgess.
help
This is
together, yeah.
Dr. Bingu.
Yeah.
California Sunlight. And if you go on the website, make sure you put a hyphen there. California
I
hyphen.
think you're speaking to those people
California
back there.
hyphen Sunlight.
Okay, so you're trying to
Wanted
project.
to show you a lithium-ion battery pack. Basically, this is a solar generator. In that you can take solar panels, plug them into the unit. It has this one particularly has a 1,000 watt lithium-ion battery pack. Okay.
The solar panel.
This is a 100 watt array.
Okay,
So it
forward.
would take, with full sunlight, take about 10 hours to charge it up with just this one pack. But you can hook up to 3 packs together with 300. You can do it in about 3 or 4 hours if you're out camping or whatever. So basically, what does this do? It's DC power, but you need for your house, you need AC. So it's an inverter. It's not a generator. It's a DC to AC inverter. Does that help anybody now?
Just recording on the tape.
Recording on the tape. Oh, recording on the tape. Okay, fine. So anyway, what we're saying is you need this output. So you take an extension cord, run it from your, say, wherever. This, by the way, is not like a gas generator. No noise and no fumes, no, this is battery. So you can actually pick this up, carry it in, put it on the counter, plug your refrigerator in, and this will run your refrigerator for a day, day and a half, depending on, what wattage, if you have an energy efficient or whatever you have, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what if the power's off for more than a day? Not good. Well, this is 1,000 watts. I'm sitting there with a Leaf in the garage and a Tesla Model 3. Tesla Model 3's got 75,000 watts. So I go to Dr. Bingu and I go, let's plug in. And a couple days later, he says, how do you like this? Ooh.
Oh, that is so
12 volt output, right?
Yeah.
And then you can hook this up to the same port you put your solar panel in, or you can put solar panels in and add this to the solar panels. You could have 3 solar panels plus your Tesla, all hooked together, all running into the machine at the same time, okay? You could run the refrigerator, television. If you have medical devices, a lot of people out there have problems with medical devices, oxygen concentrators, you name it. They have to keep their medicine chilled or whatever. So consequently, you have the ability to run an extension cord from either of those outlets into your house. You could add a power strip, so you can put 3 or 4 things in. You've got the refrigerator running, you've got television. If you have an evap cooler, you could run something like that to keep the house cool in the summertime. Not enough power to run your air conditioner. Okay? but it's emergency power to run all the things in your house that you might need.
Over here.
Yeah.
We have to turn the ignition on though, because the traction battery when charged, it usually has to be on to charge your 12 volt, which is what runs the 12 volt.
Did you hear his question here? Yes. Did you hear your question, Nick? You have to have your car turned on.
Because your 12 volt auxiliary, the computer basically battery is usually charged from your traction battery, but usually your car has to be on for that inverter to charge your 12 volt.
Yes.
So how would you keep it on for a length of time?
Camping mode.
That's probably
That's a good idea.
Does the Leaf have camping mode though?
No, but we have tested it on my Leaf. I have a Leaf and a Model 3, and so the Leaf will run, 120 watts or so.
Just leave it on that because it doesn't automatically turn off like your Tesla does.
It does.
You have a ready mode to leave.
Okay. All right, so it works on the Leaf, it works on the Tesla. I can't answer the other 8 or 9 cars because we haven't tested it on those. But for sure on my 2 cars it worked great.
That and the Bolt would be it.
And here's the thing, this is about the same price as a gas generator. If you have one, sell it, get rid of it. They're dirty, they're polluting.
Yes.
And they make noise, your neighbors don't like it. You can't run it in your garage. Put it on Craigslist or whatever. So we have a special on this. As you know, the price of the batteries have been high, but they're coming down. So we're able to offer this as a special for $798, and it's the 1,000 watt generator plus the EV connector, okay, and the nice little solar pack if you'd like that. It's 5 pounds. It comes up in a nice little briefcase. That's $198. So under $1,000, and it's all 3 pieces. We're just hoping to get more and more people because PG&E is going to shut the power off again next summer. I mean, look at poor Australia. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And of course, Puerto Rico just had an earthquake and their power is out now. So we see more and more disaster prevention applications for this kind of equipment.
What you're doing is really turning the Tesla into a power plant, right?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, my Tesla,
100 kilowatt power plant.
and in fact, my Tesla has 5 power walls in it, essentially same size, right? Yeah. So, if you have any questions, technical?
So one solar panel takes about 10 hours on a good day to charge the battery. What will that do? That little device, when you plug it in, will it charge it in 2 hours or?
One solar panel is about 100 watts. So in a good day, it's about 10 hours to charge from 0 to 100%. But you don't have to wait until 100% to use them.
But the question is, what about plug into the Tesla? How long will it charge? Take the charge?
Tesla, you will take a bigger less, maybe like 7 hours from 0 to 100%. Right now, we limit the power to be 120 watts only.
10 amp.
Yeah, right. 10 amp. You can go a little higher to a Tesla up to 15 amp, but we limit to 10 amp. So it should take about like 6 hours, 7 hours.
Couple more questions. We're running.
You can also plug it into AC. I imagine.
Oh yeah. If the grid is up, you just plug it into the AC.
And you need to plug into the 120 volt 4 outlet.
Okay.
It takes about like 3 hours to 4 hours to
Then you just use that for triple charging.
Yeah,
for
you can just charge it up to that when the grid is up. And of course, it's lithium-ion batteries, so it'll store for a year, maybe 80 or 85% power when you need it. Pull it out, ready to go.
In the back.
Is the interface for the electric car at the 12-volt house power or the drive power?
12-volt house.
When you plug it into the car, will it sustain power continuously as long as you have power in the car? So if you're using the power on the device, you can charge the watts. You plug into your Tesla. Will the Tesla replenish that power continuously?
You understand what the battery's out. Yeah, he's asking if you charge how you're using it. Is it able, for your maximum wattage that you're pulling out of that, is it able to sustain on the 12, the 100 watt that you're charging it with when you're in the car, plugged into the car?
Yeah.
You can charge it.
Yeah. Okay, so any other questions? They'll be around afterwards. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I have a couple of flyers. If you want to take one, if possible, take a picture. People say they will send one.
Okay, so can you set me up?
Set up. Oh, that's
okay.
Flawless.
For first timers, we do have, courtesy of Jorge, looks like, some copies of a great bilingual Tesla EV focused sort of literature and a great language learning for kids and adults. Also other goodies for first timers and those of us that think that they're first timers.
Can Jorge stand up so we'll take it?
Jorge, yes. And where are you? Jorge, we lost you. Okay, gang. Just wanted to share with you that we can take great road trips increasingly in electric cars. And I know I'm not the only one, so let me just start right here by asking, who else has taken at least a 2,500 mile road trip?
Whoa, 2,500.
2,500. I just made that up as a cutting point because others might be just, long weekends. But 2,500, you're gone for a while.
5 days. 5 days.
5,000? So my longest so far is this one that I'm going to share with you tonight, which was just about 4,500. And this is my route. Starting here in Sacramento, I have a must stop. Anytime I go north, I have to go to Portland. And this is kind of to share with you, there are two of the best bakeries in the world in the Pearl District, the northwest corner of Portland. Ken's Bakery and St. Honoré. They're only about 6 or 8 blocks apart. You could spend, kill a day there just basically on carbohydrates. And this is the advantage for those of us with Teslas. In this absurdly, incredibly functional charging network. And by the way, since I took this picture, this whole series across Canada is completed. The Trans-Canadian Rockies is now my next spring road trip. And then, so which is the long one? 5,000 plus? How many miles? I want to know what I have to exceed.
Close to 5,000.
Okay, I'm going 5,200 just to make sure I'm above. Okay, so my first sort of overnight, I came out of Sacramento and I actually stopped in Springfield near the charging station there because out of Sacramento, the drive on a one day to Portland, basically you get in at rush hour. And I want to avoid that. So I got up the next morning to basically, head into those bakeries. Now the kind of scenery you could get away with taking pictures while you're driving with the Tesla because you put it on auto steer. And you can play with your cell phone cameras. And now I have to take more stops than the Tesla does. There is a certain age-related problem that leads to a lot of stops at convenient, But look at this. This was morning light heading into Portland from Springfield. It was just gorgeous. And this was actually the Springfield. And by the way, this is my 4th or 5th trip from here up to Portland and maybe off and through. And they've doubled the number of chargers there at Springfield. Yeah, even.
Are you sleepy?
Yeah, okay. And without the olfactory cues, you're not appreciating it at all. But
you could have brought some and we could have determined that.
you know,
That slide just doesn't do it.
okay. Now, from Portland, I head up the Columbia River Gorge. And again, just spectacular scenery. About 35 miles east of Portland there is Multnomah Falls, which is worth a stop if you haven't been that way. I grew up in Eastern Oregon, so this from basically Eastern Oregon into Portland was a sadly too frequent trip when I was a kid, because my dad had a heart condition and his heart specialist was in Portland. And this is one of the many dams along the Columbia River. I think this is John Day. I'm not positive. Again, my time in Oregon, my dad was a construction worker working on dams up there. And then essentially my next jaunt, I mean, I go all the way from Portland up here to Missoula, which was my next stop. Stayed an overnight there to charge because I have a student of mine from 1970 that I stay in touch with, and he and his wife and family live in Kalispell, so I make a side run up there. Anybody else besides me been to Kalispell? And, you know, support me here. This is a hidden gem of mountain Montana beauty. It really is. And the drive up there, you go around right here a lake that is like Tahoe, but it might be prettier. And I know that's heresy, but I'm just pointing out, you know, for your plans, this is the kind of country that the big planner above meant for us to appreciate. And Peter, our club president, actually did his graduate work at Montana State University, so he's familiar with this territory, maybe not this corner, but certainly further east in Montana. What did I just do? Okay, so this is some of the scenery getting up to Kalispell, you know, with clouds over and some of the high mountains. I mean, it was gorgeous. My other stop in Montana, must stop, going across, is Billings. I have some ex-Sacramentans that live there. The wife was one of my running club people that I got started in serious competition and she was actually a pro out of college, and she married a pro that was sponsored by Nike. All three of their daughters have gone on full rides to university. They could have paid their, you know, dad's an MD, but they didn't have to pay a penny for their kids' education. 2 from Notre Dame. The youngest is finishing at Stanford in pre-med. Out of Billings, what I did on this trip was to go all the way over. What's in Rapid City?
Mount Rushmore.
Yes. You know, again, one of the things that, if you haven't been there, you should get there. And what I liked was at this rest stop, this was not a car required, this was a George required. But can you read that sign? Yeah. At least they warned me about it, because I'm too damn slow to get away. And again, I mean, across that whole northern loop, I saw almost no other cars at the charging stations. I mean, there just weren't any. And this I thought was, you know, really neat because there was another car. Anybody recognize that one? From the movie?
Yeah.
Devil's, yeah. What is it, Devil's Tower? Devil's Post. And it, you know, if you've seen the movie and you're into it, you got to make that side trip.
Volcano.
Yeah. See, and Tesla right there. And then I make it to Rushmore. And the charging stations there are right by a big mall. Now, if you haven't been to that area, I mean, you go there for Mount Rushmore, but Rapid City has this really neat downtown area where they have bronze statues of all of the decent presidents. Meaning the first 44. And I took pictures with many of them, but I edited out just ones that I have actually seen in person. So I've actually seen Harry Truman when he was coming through in 1948 for his re-election campaign.
Did you vote for him?
I was 5, but I'm sure my parents did.
There's Ronnie.
Good old Ronnie.
Oh, Jack.
Seen JFK a couple of different times.
So, question, did any charging strategies emerge on your trip, or did you stop and you charge 100% like every time you stopped? Or did
I usually overcharge what it tells me I need because I never want to be nervous, and I want to have some flexibility for a spontaneous side trip.
When the wind may come again.
Yeah, yeah. So I overcharge what I have to give me that flexibility. Not 100%, no, never. It's not worth the time.
Yeah, it takes you forever.
Yeah, Kennedy was up in the Reading area when I was an undergrad at community college to dedicate Whiskeytown Dam. I also saw him in 1959 when he was campaigning, because I was high school photographer for the school paper, and we got off to go, you know, see the president come through, along with the first Governor Brown. And anybody got that one? Yeah, and Eisenhower dedicated the dam that my dad was working on, you know, there in Eastern Oregon. Now, this is the inspiration to see Mount Rushmore. When I was pulling in, you know, I had not been there. I'd been there 2 years earlier, but they said, oh, you got to make sure to park where there's EV charging. We just opened a dozen EV chargers, and half of them are Tesla over here, destination chargers. There's level 2s over there.
Why are you parked in the level 2s?
Because I came in from an angle and I didn't see those. And, you know, at that stage, it's about 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And again, just to show you, I did make it to Mount Rushmore. And again, strong recommendations for the little dining hall there at the park. That was $7.
Wow. You didn't go see Crazy Horse?
Yes, I did. I didn't go in, but I saw it from the distance. I wasn't going to pay the admission fee for Crazy Horse. I did see buffalo in the area. And again, my running club is buffalo chips. So I have to take pictures of any buffalo I see. And look at, this is in one of the sort of other towns, I forget, it's Custer or something. And they have these beautifully painted and, you know, sort of decorated buffalo all over the downtown area. So from that area, basically I went to Denver. Again, I have ex-Sacramento friends that can't travel. The husband has some medical conditions, so he really can't travel, and I try to get back and see them. This was the only place I had a momentary stress few minutes charging, because at, like right in here, this charger only has 4 stalls. The first one wasn't working. The second one wasn't working. The third one wasn't working, and I'm on the phone to Tesla because it was going to be finding a welding shop or something, because I was down to about 50-mile range. And, oh, try the last one. And it was working. And again, no other cars. But, you know, and these chargers, Tesla chargers, report when they're out of service. So they sort of knew, but they didn't have anybody there fixing them. That was the only stressful charging moment. It would not have been good. Now this is approaching Denver. You know, again, just beautiful scenery. And for those of us with self-driving Teslas or semi-self-driving, you know, we can actually cheat and get some pictures. This is charging at Centennial in the suburbs of Denver. And I have nothing but good things to say about the Tesla showroom there in Denver, because 3 years ago, because again, I've been doing a version of this trip, not quite as extensive as this one, to visit those people in Denver. And 3 years ago, with my P85D with Ludicrous, it had already been my second Tesla purchase, and I was pissed because on the Tesla forums, everywhere else in the country, at least by the time you got your second Tesla, they'd give you a jacket like the Tesla. Where's our Tesla man? A jacket like our Tesla man is wearing, or a hat, or both. And Rockland was doing nothing. And I went into the showroom there in Centennial, and I'm whining about how tight Rockland is. And the Centennial showroom gave me a $175 Tesla like ski jacket. So yeah, squeaky wheel, you know, sometimes works.
So did you bring anything else besides, do you just charge superchargers, that's all you did?
Yeah. And by the way, in my previous trips, you know, this is the other thing. The superchargers from 3 years ago, the charging rates, it's 20 to 30% higher even at the standard Tesla superchargers. And 2 years ago, I carried an electric bike with me, and this year I carried my electric scooter. I never had enough time to get the electric scooter out because I was already getting warnings that the car was ready to drive the next leg, because the chargers are seriously and clearly quicker. And again, this is exciting time for doing road trips with electric cars because it's only getting better. And from there, I decided to throw in, because I had some time and it was being a nice drive, to go to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. And this is leaving Denver at a charger. And this is actually approaching Moab, where I spent a couple of days. I mean, there's a side road off of the main road into Moab, the side road you can take that goes kind of a cutoff, and it's way more attractive. And some locals had told me, oh, don't drive the freeway, you know, take this 120 or whatever the road was. And boy, it was really a great recommendation. I mean, look at that scenery. Now, some of this is in arches now from Moab.
Your car took that one picture there?
Always. Yeah. And this was actually approaching Flagstaff, and as I got another 20 miles, that was a horrifically heavy thunderstorm that I ended up going through. And this was really neat. So I get to the Grand Canyon, and it's having its 100th anniversary. I was there the last time coming back from grad school at Michigan State in 1969. So I was there for its 50th and for its 100th year.
What month was this?
September.
See, I was there in August.
And then from basically the Grand Canyon territory over to Vegas, because I wanted to try the level 3, the V3 chargers in Vegas. And let's see, 115 degrees. I was really appreciating the air conditioning. And this is the V3 chargers in Vegas that are up. We're up in September. Now there's way more. I mean, there's a V3 off of, pardon?
Reading.
Reading, okay. And then from there, Big Hook, and that was a single long day back.
How many days was your trip?
About 12. You know, because I visited with people and stayed over at a couple of places. So it wasn't everyday driving.
Every one of those red arrows is a stop you made to charge?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you, George.
And this was a heavy supercharger coming from Vegas across to, you know, hit I-5.
You didn't have to charge at a campground?
Never.
Yeah, we did that thrice.
Yeah. Now, again, anybody, you know, with anything other than a Tesla, I think you're probably a couple years from easy road tripping. It'll come. But those of us with any kind of Tesla, don't worry about it. Thanks, guys.
right, so as we wrap this meeting up, we got two more things that I want to kind of do. First, I want to have all the SacEV past and present board members stand up. Can I get everyone to stand up, that's past and present? So we have great turnout at our meetings, and the board could always use a lot more help and a lot more people volunteering, coming to our board meetings to support SacEV and the adoption of electric vehicles in the area. So look around at the board member, past and present board members, whether it's President Peter here, Wayne Thomas over there, and connect with us to get involved, because we could really use your help. And last but not least, let me get this on here.
I just got a coaching thing to stay to one side of the screen so that the camera can see.
All right, is this cool new splitter called NEA Charge. Now NEA Charge, it plugs into a 240 outlet, and then it basically splits it. So you can have your washer and dryer plugged into, or dryer plugged into one, or washer, whatever is going on, and then your level 2 charger on the other side. These are built here in California. They're actually part of the CalSeed program, which is early stage investment of clean tech companies growing in the greater, or in California. We have CalSeed companies that are actually here in Sacramento doing some really cool things. And if you're interested in those, I'm going to do a shameless plug of Clean Start, the clean tech accelerator for the region. Check us out or talk to me. And I'm going to put the NEA Charge up here. So if you want to come in and check out California Sunlight and talk to Bingu, you can come and check out the NEA Charge too.
How much are the NEA Charge?
That'd be a good question for them. Yeah.
Is that just a splitter?
It's just basically a splitter, so it prevents.
When you try to run your dryer and your charger.
It'll make sure that that doesn't actually. No, well, it's a smart splitter. So it'll prevent you from burning down your house. And it's great for, so you don't have to run an additional line. Yes. Yes. I believe it's UL compliant. Yes. It's $500. So come look at it. Well, it's cheaper than running a whole new line.
Not if you do it yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell you what, you can go to people's houses and do it for them. All right. Thank you for coming. I'm going to do one more tour of Hacker Lab in a split second right over here if you want to join me. And you're now free to stand up and move about at the cabin.
Last thing is, again, we wanted to, those board members and past board members, please stand up again.
I'm gonna wear out my knees.
We're always looking.
We really want your help.
For help. You know, many, what is it? Many.
I want you to care about EVs.
So come check with one of these board members about how things that you like to do and how you might help out. So any one of these guys, president past, check with them. Thank you.
All right.